So the day that I'm uploading this, April 30th, is a very special day for me. It is 6 years to the date where I walked away from my law enforcement job, walked away from the detective title, the agency SWAT team, the sniper team position, all of that, called it quits, went all in on my business. Now, I know a lot of you guys watching this, that's the end goal. You want to make a little bit of money, but then you ultimately want to make enough money that you can quit your job. Even if you have the grand vision of building $1 million business, the first goal is I need to get my time back. I need to make enough to quit my job so I can have more time to do the things that I want to do. And for me, that was the motivating factor. Because I'll be honest, guys, like it's really easy to get caught up in looking at people who are successful online and all of the cars they have, the houses, this, and that, and have that motivate you. Be like, oh yeah, I want to get those things too. Or that's the only thing that motivates them, whatever it may be. And I'll be honest with you guys, I couldn't care less about all of that material stuff. Like, yeah, it's nice, but for me, my biggest motivating factor was time. When I first started at the sheriff's office, guys, I absolutely loved it there. I thought to myself at year 2 and year 3, I was like, I could do this for another 30 hours. I could work patrol for another 30 years. I said 30 hours, but I meant 30 years, which is how much time I would need to put in to be able to retire. I think it was actually a little bit longer. And that was the mentality there. I fucking loved going to work. I was like, yes, this is exactly where I want to be. This is exactly what I want to be doing. But then over time, as the novelty wears off, and then especially once I started growing my family, like got together with my wife, and then my kid came, everything changed. Everything changed as soon as I knew that I was going to have a family. And the reason things changed was because when I came in, we had a lot of retirements happening one after another. People putting in 20 years, 25, 30. The sheriff at the time put in 40 years in the county. The day after they all retired, nobody ever talked about them again. But you know what they were left dealing with? They were left dealing with multiple divorces, multiple marriages, estranged relationships with their kids, and they were left to pick up all of the pieces that they left behind throughout their life in law enforcement by themselves, and everybody else completely forgot about them, right? As they should. You're running a law enforcement agency, we got to keep things moving, right? But for me, when I saw that, I was like, I'm not going to sacrifice my entire life for a job that I no longer want to do, that I no longer feel the calling to do, and eventually lead my relationship with my wife to divorce, more than likely, or having a strange relationship with my kids because I never got to see them. I don't want to miss their birthdays. I don't want to miss Christmases. I don't want to miss the things going on at school. I don't want to miss their sports, right? So I knew at that time, I was like, I got to do something else. I have to figure out something else to do. And guys, I started looking everywhere. I started diving into real estate. I started diving into wholesaling real estate or just becoming a real estate agent. I started looking into affiliate marketing. Instagram theme pages were starting to become a thing at that time. Drop shipping was starting to really take off at that time. Just so many different business models, and it was just like they were too complicated. I just couldn't wrap my head around it because, guys, at the time, I'm like, I was just a cop, and I was just like a normal dude. I wasn't like on social media hardly at all, and it's like all of these like marketing things that you need to know about and all of these complicated things. I was like, it's just so over my head. But one thing that I want you guys to understand is that once you start really understanding the value of your time, and how much you're wasting either at a job you no longer want to be in a relationship you no longer want to be in, or doing things that you no longer want to do, once you really start to think about that and think about the opportunities that are at our fingertips today, you understand the value of time, how every single person on this planet, rich, poor, they got money, they don't got money, they have influence, they don't have influence, they have status, they don't have status. Everybody is after more time, but nobody's going to get any more than they currently have. And I wrote about this on Instagram. It's like, the older that I get, the more I realize the real luxury in life is time. And for me, that was the big thing. That was the big motivating factor that I was like, I need to get complete control of my time. And that's what motivated me to leave. And the reason I say once you really start to think about and understand the value of your time, it will change everything, is because it just goes back to the law of exposure. Once exposed, you can no longer be unexposed. So if you start to really think and see and understand, look at all of these opportunities over here, that yes, they're going to require work. Yes, they're going to require sacrifice and dedication and persistence, but they could give me a completely different life than the life that I am currently living, that I no longer want to follow, no longer want to do, and it's going to lead to a lot of pain down the road. It's going to be really hard after opening that door and seeing all of those opportunities. It's going to be really fucking hard to go back to the job you hate and sit there happily for the next 20, 30 years. And let me give you an example of when this was really solidified for me. It was a very important conversation that I had with probably my best friend at the department after I put my 2 weeks in. Usually when we started our shift, we'd go meet up at a kind of a place where you don't get a lot of traffic to kind of brief on what's been going on during the shift. And then you kind of go about your ways. You go to different beats and stuff like that. Anyways, we started having this conversation. He knows I already put my 2 weeks in. Everybody knows I put my 2 weeks in. And he comes up to me. He's like, man, you got some balls to give up everything that you have in the department. Realistically, you stay a little bit longer, you're probably going to make sergeant. And he's like, and you're going to give all that up to go start this business that may not work out. And he's like, I would never do that. And in my head, I was like, yeah, you fucking damn right you wouldn't do it, or else you'd be doing it right now. I said, but me and you are not the same. That's what I thought about in my head, right? And he starts talking to me, and he's like, look, once you're here as long as this guy, one of our most senior guys there at the department, he's like, once you're here as long as this guy, which would have been another 20 years, he's like, you'll get an extra 2 days off per month. An extra 2 days off per month that you can request as vacation, right? For me, that was it. That was the nail in the coffin, because leading up to that point, I was like, man, am I making the right decision? Man, I got a family. I got a wife, a kid. I got cars. I got a house. I got all of these things to worry about. I was like, am I really about to fucking call it quits? Like, I've worked really hard to get where I'm at right now. I put in so much time. I was going back and forth. After I had that conversation, even though I had already put my 2 weeks in, that was boom. I'm good. I'm locked in. That's exactly what I needed to hear. To think that I would need to put in another 20 years to be able to ask for another 2 days off per month. To do what? To go spend time with my family? I gotta go put in 20 years, and then I gotta go ask another man to give me permission to go and spend time with my family so I don't have to come to work. Once exposed, you cannot be unexposed. The law of exposure is fucking real. You see all of these opportunities, all of the things that you could accomplish, and all of the things that you could do. Try to look at all of those things and then go back to the job that you fucking hate, that you're ready to go, and tell me how that goes for you. And I told him when he said that, I said, man, if I make this fucking work, I could have as much time off as I want. And he's like, yeah, but what if you don't? What if you don't make it work? What if you fail? What are you going to do? And I said, what if I do make it work? What if I fucking succeed? And I get everything that I'm after. And that's exactly what I fucking got. Once you decide to leave your job and go against the grain that society has instilled in all of us of this is the path. You go to school, you go to college, you get a job. And if you have a good job, you stay there for fucking ever. Even if you don't like it, then you retire, then you enjoy your life down the road. As soon as you start going against that plan, do not make the mistake that I made, which is expect people to be happy for you, to be hyped for you, to see your vision and be like, fuck yeah, dude, that's so sick. Like, you're going to go and accomplish those things. Don't expect that to happen, because that is not going to happen. 99% of all of the people in my life, whether they were coworkers, family members, or people that I just knew in my personal life, 99% of them either threw jabs left and fucking right, were skeptical, looked at me like I was fucking crazy. They either just outright made fun of me, or they would throw jabs left and right. There was one person that I can tell you that was in 1000% full support out of all of the people in my life. And that was my wife. Regardless if we were having an uptime or a downtime in the business, we were succeeding or struggling, she was there the entire way. Complete support. We'll fucking figure it out. Just keep doing what you have to do. And luckily that was all that I needed. But guys, I am not exaggerating when I tell you that was the only person in my life who wasn't skeptical, wasn't throwing jabs, wasn't doing all of that. And that is exactly what you're going to run into. And at the time, guys, I held on to that. Like, there was so much weight on me. Like, I was fucking pissed. I was like, man, fuck all these people, this, and that. They don't believe in my vision. They're just making fun of me. They're doing this. And I'm trying to go and create this thing. And I almost didn't understand. I was like, I'm trying to go and create this thing. What I mean when I say don't make the mistake that I made was that you expect them to understand your vision. You expect them to be excited for you. You expect them to be pushing you almost. Like, you're like, why aren't you excited for my vision? Why aren't you excited for this thing that I'm trying to build, my business that I'm trying to build, right? They're never going to understand your vision, because if they did, they would go and be pursuing the exact same thing. When you go against the grain of everything that we talked about, you're on a completely different path than 99% of people. Not that you're better than them or they're better than you. None of that. You're just on two different paths. You're on two very different wavelengths. And you need to understand that. But if you go about your life and trying to build this business and you keep carrying that weight with you, it is just an unnecessary anchor that you're going to have on your back on your path to success. With that being said, I will say this. If your plan is to make this work and you have those people in your life, you need to distance yourself from all of them. That's exactly what I did. Like, there was people that I would hang out with every single week that now to this point, I haven't seen them in years. With my family, I'm not going to do that. But there was a phase where I needed to build up my belief. I needed to know that I was going to make this fucking happen no matter what, and have the confidence that I was going to be able to do that. And during that phase, that grind phase where I'm building myself up, I see the vision that I have, I see the business that I'm going to build. I couldn't have those things around me, because as much as I'm telling you don't carry that weight with you, you still can't have that shit around you. Because it is one thing to start a side hustle or a business when you have a steady income coming in at all times. It is guaranteed. You know you're making money month in, month out, and you're just trying to build this business to the side. That can be stressful. It is a whole nother animal to start a business when you just left your job, no income is coming in, and you have bills to pay, you have a family to support. That is a completely different beast as far as stress goes. The last thing that you need is to have people raining down on you, pulling you back, telling you all this shit, introducing doubt into your mind when you're trying to make shit happen. That's just another anchor on your back that you're going to be trying to climb this mountain and you have all this weight. It's not going to help you whatsoever. So you need to make that hard choice and you need to distance yourself from them for the time being. That's what I would recommend. And to be clear, guys, like, I left because I wanted to burn the boats, because I knew that that's how I operated and I would make it fucking happen. And sure enough, I did. I'm not telling you to quit your job. That's not what I'm saying. I think it's a smarter play to stay at your job, keep making money, put more and more money into your business, and then grow from there. Luckily, I had some money saved up, put to the side, that allowed me, just bought me enough time to make shit happen. Now, the last thing that I'll tell you guys is, if you have this dream of building your business, making shit happen, buying back your time so that you can spend it however the fuck you want, you need to have essentially 3 things working in your favor. Number 1, you need to know why you're doing it. What is the vision that you have, and what is the emotional driver, the core emotional driver behind that vision? A lot of people come into this business and it's like they forgot that part about, what am I trying to create and why am I trying to do it? And they're so surface level. Oh, I'm just trying to make a little bit extra money. Oh, I just want to buy back my time. Just say that, buy back my time. No, why the fuck do you want to do it? Like, what's the real core emotional driver that you want to do it? You want to buy back your time to do what? For me, I'll tell you what my core emotional driver was. I needed to buy back my time so that I could see my kids grow up. So that I could be at every Christmas. I could be at all those sports games, so that me and my wife could actually have a relationship and grow in this life together. For me, my driving factor was my family. It wasn't fucking cars. It wasn't money. It wasn't houses. It wasn't all this bullshit. For me, it was, I need to have more time to invest in my family, in that future that I'm building, and in the kids that I'm raising. If I'm stuck in law enforcement, not only am I miserable, I don't want to fucking be there, but I'm missing everything else. I'm missing all of the things that I actually want to do in my life. I want to take my kids on all these trips, all these vacations. I want to have some fucking money for sure. More than $3,000, $3,500 a month that I'm killing myself for. That was my emotional driver. So you need to have that. That's very, very important. Like, you just need to think, like, why am I trying to do this? Am I just really trying to make a few extra bucks? Like, that is so surface level. The reason this is so important is because as soon as you hit your first obstacle, your first roadblock, the things that's going to be holding you back, and you're like, oh shit, like my first set of adversity. If you have a strong core emotional driver, that shit's going to fall off. It's not even going to be a blip on your radar. You're going to solve it. You're going to keep going. If you don't have that core emotional driver, and it's almost like this would be nice kind of mentality and kind of attitude that you're bringing about your business, you run into that first set of adversity, you're going to shit your pants. You're not going to know what the hell to do. And then you're going to be crying about it all over the internet. Okay. That's the difference. Core emotional driver or not. Second thing that you need to have, massive clarity about exactly what you're going to pursue and how you're going to get there. A lot of times people will leave and they will see all of these different opportunities, and then they start going from, all right, let's do the influencer program. Let's do Amazon FBA. Let's do Walmart. Let's do drop shipping. Let's do affiliate marketing. Let's do this. Let's do that. They're all over the place. If you lack clarity, not only will you be way more distracted, but you're going to be more susceptible to procrastination and just not following through on the things that you're saying you're going to do and actually build this business. There's this quote that I really like about procrastination. The cost of procrastination is the life that you could have lived. And procrastination is bred in times where you lack clarity. If you know exactly where you're going, you know exactly what to do, it's really hard to consciously make the decision that you're going to procrastinate on the things that are going to take you from where you currently are and get you exactly where you want to go. Because at that point, if you're still procrastinating, you ain't procrastinating, you're just fucking lazy. Okay? Because now you know the path. Now all you need to do is walk it. So you need to have massive, massive clarity if you're going to decide to pursue a business that's going to eventually lead you to quitting your job. Number 3, most important by far, you need to go all in. If you're halfway in and halfway out, not only are you going to have the worst set of self-talk going on in your head about every single thing that's not going your way, but when you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out, you're 1 foot away from quitting it altogether. So as soon as things aren't going your way, or as soon as you can't figure it out in the first 48 hours, you're going to start talking shit to yourself, and you're probably going to end up quitting. I talk to a lot of people, guys, a lot of clients, and I can tell you which ones are talking shit to themselves all day long and which ones are locked in and they're making it happen. You need to come into this business with the mentality of, I am going to make this work no matter what. No matter what, I am going to make this work. I interviewed one of my clients recently. He just hit 10K in 90 days. His name is Logan. And in the interview, I don't even know if he caught this or if he even consciously was thinking about this when he said this, he's like, man, I just knew that I was going to stick this out and make this work no matter what. And then we kind of brushed over that. That's the mentality that you need. You need to have the mentality that I'm going to stick this out until I fucking figure it out. The people that come into this business half-assing it never make it work. At best, they might get $1,000 in sales, $5,000 in sales. Nothing significant. Nothing to write home about. Definitely not enough to quit your job. Those are the results you produce when you're half-ass, when you're halfway in, halfway out. Because again, if you're halfway in, halfway out, you're just one step away from quitting, going back to your old job and talking shit about all of the things that you're doing over there. Just like you brought that energy, that mentality, and those beliefs, and that the way you operate, you brought that shit to your business. And if it wasn't working at your job, sure as fuck's not going to work at your business. So you need to fix that immediately. So again, guys, if you really want to make this business work and you really want to reach that goal that everybody has, I want to go from my current job that I no longer want to be in to having complete control over my life and my time and how much money I make. You need to have a vision with a core emotional driver. You need to have massive clarity about what you're doing. And you need to go all in, 100% all in on yourself, your business, and your future.